was reportedly tortured by having his hands, arms, and legs systematically severed with a sword. Hello, true crime fans, and welcome to Behind the Yellow Tape. The murder of Tim Lopes on the 2nd of June 2002 remains a horrific landmark in the history of journalism and public safety in Brazil. Lopes, a respected investigative reporter for Rede Globo, was not killed in a random act of violence, but was specifically targeted and executed by the drug faction controlling the area in Rio de Janeiro. His death was a direct, brutal reprisal for his work exposing organised crime and social injustices within his marginalised communities, shedding a stark light on the terrifying reality of what they called parallel power, which was wielded by criminals who operate with impunity. The barbarity of the crime transcended simple homicide, becoming a calculated act of terror meant to silence dissent and intimidate both the press and the local residents. Lopes's final assignment was an investigation into reports from community members about a Bal Funk, which was a large party often used by drug gangs that was allegedly promoting child prostitution and other criminal activities in the area. On the afternoon of the 2nd of June 2002, Lopes prepared for his covert operation. He left his identification and cell phone at his office, then went to a nearby shopping centre where he meticulously rigged himself with a micro camera concealed within a pack at his waist. His objective was to obtain irrefutable video evidence of the trafficking and exploitation taking place, similar to successful reports he had filed previously. Having filmed in the same spot several times in the past, Lopes entered the gangland area and was recording armed traffickers driving by on motorcycles near the drug-selling spots. It was here that two members of the criminal faction accosted and kidnapped him. Lopes was subsequently driven in the trunk of a car to the top of a neighbouring area. Once there, he was tied to a tree and subjected to a gruesome process. This was orchestrated by the drug lords to look like a mock trial. This was less a deliberation of justice and more a psychological and physical prelude to his execution. The intent was clearly not only to kill the journalist, but to inflict maximum pain and psychological distress as a warning to anyone, be they residents or reporters who dare to challenge the gang's authority. The details of the subsequent torture and murder are profoundly disturbing and quickly made the case infamous across the nation. During the mock trial, the traffickers reportedly accused him of being an informant for the police and a threat to their operations. Following this mock judgment, the torturous execution began. According to evidence gathered during the investigation, Lopes was subjected to monstrous violence while still alive. He was reportedly tortured by having his hands, arms, and legs systematically severed with a sword. The sheer premeditation and cruelty involved in this act, the use of a weapon like a sword, and the protracted nature of the mutilation cemented the incident as one of the most savage acts of organised crime reported in Brazil. The final horrifying act of this murder, known as necklacing, involved placing Lopes's mutilated body inside a stack of tyres, covering the structure with petrol and setting it alight. The murder of Tim Lopes sent shockwaves through Brazilian society. It catalysed massive media attention, not only because of his high profile as a Globo journalist, but because the crime so graphically confirmed the existence of a brutal parallel justice system in the area controlled entirely by drug lords. Lopes's death tragically underscored the perilous risks faced by journalists who seek to expose the truth and the desperate situation of the residents who had no recourse against these criminal rulers. In the wake of the international outrage and national mourning, the crime spurred significant government response, including major police incursions into the Complexo del Alemano, and eventually led to the implication of the pacifying police units, intending to reclaim control of the area from the drug factions. Tim Lopes's tragic end serves as a powerful, somber reminder of the sacrifices made in the pursuit of truth and the devastating consequences of unchecked criminal power. The legacy of his investigation continues to fuel the ongoing, difficult fight for justice and public safety in Rio de Janeiro. Thank you for listening today, and remember, Stay behind the yellow tape.